Hey everyone, I'm the Pixel Pathfinder, and my goal is to help you find great new indie games to play. And look, there's a face to the video here. I really debated about whether or not I wanted to have the webcam on or not, but I kind of decided that, live videos were the place that I was going to want to have, maybe the webcam on, especially in this particular situation, because in today's stream, we're going to be shopping together. That's essentially the idea here. The Steam Autumn Sale has started. It runs from now through November 28th. And I always like to jump into the Steam sales, take a look for things that maybe I want to pick up and play. And I was hoping that as I went through the sale here, I'd be able to make some recommendations for those of you who maybe watch this later as a VOD. And then I just want to provide the opportunity, if anybody does jump in and watch this live, that if they have a particular type of game that they're looking for, maybe they would be able to ask, and I would be able to help them to find a particular game. So that's kind of the goal here. If you aren't able to catch this live and you are watching it as a VOD later and you still want help finding the right game for you, you can leave your description of what you're looking for in the comment section below, and then I will help you out as best as I can in the comments. All right, so I just want to jump right into the Steam sale here and see what things are all about. Now, I like to start out by opening a website here called Is There Any Deal? Okay, and I like to have this open when I'm looking through Steam sales, because a lot of times you think that with a big Steam sale, there's going to be the biggest discounts, and that is not always the case. Now, this website, Is There Any Deal? You can go here, you can punch in any game, and it'll pop up and tell you when that game has been on sale, if it's currently on sale, what the sales history was like, etc. So I like to use that to compare and see if am I getting the best deal during this Steam sale, or am I better off waiting for like a weekend sale or a one-off sale where this game is going to be discounted even more steeply than it currently is. So we're going to get into the Steam sale here and take a look at what is up. Starting up here, we're just going to hit some of these banners, and we're going to jump into the actual Steam sale itself. So we're just going to go down the page and check things out. Now, up here at the top, we got the start of some live service games. I have basically abandoned every live service game that I played because I don't want my games to feel like another job. That being said, I have played a lot of them, and I have opinions on most of them. I think Destiny 2 is kind of going down the toilet. The mostly negative probably reflects that. All right, this is the Lightfall expansion in particular. Diablo 4 is a game that I generally would recommend you pass on in favor of something like Path of Exile or Last Epoch. And again, we're going to see mixed reviews there. Sea of Thieves is actually a game that I think is quite fun if you're willing to brave some PvP and you have some friends to play with. And again, very positive reviews there, kind of reflecting on that. So, we all kinds of stuff here on the banner. We might come back to these banners if we need to. Personally, I am a browse by category person to kind of let myself see what it is that I'm getting myself into. So I think that's where we're actually going to start. So we're going to hop down here. We have browse by category. All right, so we're just going to pop open the categories that we think are interesting here. For me, we're definitely going to check out the roguelike categories. So let's go ahead. We're going to pull Is There Any Deal over here, hop into the roguelikes, and take a look at what we have. Apparently, I have no wishlist titles for roguelikes that are part of the autumn sale. That doesn't surprise me. Most of what I have is coming here in the future. So taking a look here, Remnant 2 has gotten fairly good reviews and community reception overall. 30% discount on $50. That's okay. Me personally, I would wait unless I had a couple of friends that I wanted to play this with. Risk of Rain 2, another very popular game. I just put out a video for the Risk of Rain Returned, which is a remaster for Risk of Rain that is very, very good and costs pretty much about the same price as this. That being said, Risk of Rain is a fairly highly rated game, and I could recommend it to you. I have played it myself. Unfortunately, it gives me a lot of repetitive stress injury symptoms, and so I don't personally play it a lot myself. Let's see. I want to go through here, and I'm just going to kind of highlight the stuff that stands out to me. I do not have filters on my Steam, so I apologize if you see any you know, crazy adult only hentai looking stuff on here, because it's bound to come up. All right, stuff recommended for me. So we got Loop Hero, pretty solid game. I did a video for this one way back when the channel first started. Nice one to pick up, and I actually haven't seen too many games come out that are similar to this. I played a demo for one during the past Steam's Next Fest, and I ended up not posting that video because the game was just all right. This one is pretty fun, though, if you like a good sort of strategic roguelike game that has some real-time elements to it. You basically put your hero onto a path and they go around the path, and you build the things around the path to create opportunities for them to level up and gear up and things like that. So that's one to check out. It's, you know, 67% off, $5, pretty solid deal in my opinion. Roguelike is a solid Slay the Spire style game where you actually play with a party of a couple different heroes instead of just a singular hero. It's got a pretty unique like map exploration mechanic to it as well. This is one that I have been wanting to pick up. I played the demo, I enjoyed it. I was really excited about it when it first came out, and I just never pulled the trigger on it here. I've been waiting for it to be pretty cheap, and it's pretty cheap now at $7.50, so you know, that's a solid possible pickup there. Kind of the same thing with Griftlands. Griftlands, another like Slay the Spire style card battling deck builder. This one has a heavy emphasis on story and has two different modes of sort of like card combat. One where you play against enemies in battle, and another where you're kind of doing like D&D style checks against people based on your like conversation and political stats. So pretty good blending there. Again, one that's pretty interesting. I'm not super into sci-fi, and I do like really heavy combat focus. So while it's been a good game and it's definitely fun, there are so many Slay the Spire likes out there that I still just haven't pulled the trigger on this one yet. Tainted Grail, another sort of deck building card game. Pretty interesting here. It's only 50% off, but this one has multiple different classes you can play as. You take them through a very grim, dark sort of setting, and you go out there and, you know, you've got, again, your different classes with different decks, and you kind of play through a Slay the Spire style map. I've seen good things about Brotato, but it's definitely not my type of game. Tower Tactics Liberation, a good tower defense one here that, again, I just haven't picked up. There's all sorts of tower defense out there, and I kind of prefer the Dungeon Defender style tower defense where you have a hero that is a part of it. At 25% off, I would probably still wait on this one. I'm not going to review every single game that I see, but in this recommended section, I want to show the games that have been recommended for me and what my general thoughts are on them, just in case they pop up for you too, because if you play a lot of the same stuff that I do, then these are going to pop up for you. Halls of Torment is a bullet heaven style game like Vampire Survivors, and there's a ton of those. I already have enough to play, so I just haven't picked it up. Inscription is a very, very highly rated deck builder that, again, has a heavy emphasis on like story and mystery, and I'm not always in the market for those when I'm playing games, so I have kept myself pretty spoiler free of this game, intending to pick it up at some point, probably when it's about $5, and play through it at that time. 20 Minutes Till Dawn is another bullet heaven style game that is similar to Vampire Survivors. It's actually pretty cheap. It's $5 to start with, and it's 35% off right now. And from what I remember, I think there was some sort of a DLC or expansion coming for this one here pretty soon. Yeah, it's the Ember Path. They just put out a new Katana character. This is one that I've just kind of been waiting to play. Again, there's tons of bullet hells out there, but this one is already pretty cheap and actually rated fairly highly. So this is one that was on my list to maybe pick up and play. Looking through here, what else do we have that I might want to mention? So far, nothing too crazy. There's lots of games in here that I've seen, but you know, I wouldn't really like recommend them to you without knowing what you were really into. Darkest Dungeon 2 is one I'm kind of hoping to be able to get into here soon. I actually own the game on Epic, but I never opened the Epic Game Store, so it's basically like I don't own this game. Endless Dungeon just came out, mixed reviews, 20% off, tower defense game that you can play co-op with your friends, and they just came out with a brand new update here recently. I did reach out to see if I can get a key for this one to maybe try it out on the channel, but until I try it, I can't recommend it. I was very excited about this, but the closer we got to launch, the less confidence I had in the game, and as a result, I have not picked it up and played it yet, and the mixed reviews seem to indicate that that was probably a fairly good decision for the time being. Raven's Watch is one that I'm also really wanting to play. This is by the developers of Curse of the Dead Gods. I think it's Curse of the Dead Gods is the title, which is pretty fun. I showcased that, I think, on a different channel. Really enjoyed it. It's kind of like a more roguelike, less story-focused version of Hades. Raven's Watch sort of takes that formula, and I don't know why it says single player here. It turns it into co-op, so you can actually play with your friends. And in this game, you take on sort of like these twisted, maybe like grim fairy tale version of different sorts of like folk heroes. So they just recently came out with Sun Wukong. They got like Geppetto, the equivalent, I think, of like Red Riding Hood and the Pied Piper and stuff like that. Looks really fun. I've been keeping an eye on this one. It came out to kind of mixed, mostly positive reviews, and has just been continually updated. One of the big downfalls for this game initially has been the lack of content that they released with when they went into early access. So this is one that's at 20% off for something that's fairly new is like tempting, but not quite enough. I would want to see these reviews come up a little bit more, or maybe see the price go down a little bit more to kind of sway me one way or the other on Raven's Watch. Dome Keeper, I actually have really been wanting to play here. Dome Keeper is pretty interesting. It's like a base building game where you're essentially sort of like digging out this tunnel is what it looks like. But along the way, you kind of are defending a dome that you have that's attached to the surface. And that dome, there's different ones that you can play as and play with, and you get to customize that dome. You get to, I mean, look at this. You get to like kit it out with different talents and skills and abilities, and it looks really interesting, sort of like a combination of like digging through the floor Terraria style, but then having that dome that you need to defend. And I've really been wanting to check this one out. 50% off, $8.99. That's one that I'd be pretty keen on checking out. But this is also where I would take a look at Dome Keeper. I would come over to Is There Any Deal, and I would type in Dome Keeper. Right, and then I would click on Dome Keeper itself right here. And then I would look and I would see, okay, current best, it's 50% off at Good Old Games for $8.99, which is what it currently is on Steam. The historical low that it's been has been $4.50. So it has been available before at 75% off. Now that might have been like a super steep one-off discount, but it does let you know that this is a game that has been discounted to a lower price before. So unless you really want to pick up this game and play it soon, you might want to wait and see if that 75% off sale comes back around again. Heretic's Fork is another game that released here recently back in September. This is one I've been wanting to play. I might actually pick this one up, 20% off, $8. Again, it's fairly new, so I don't expect it to be discounted very steeply anytime soon. This is one where you kind of have a tower in the center of a map and hordes come in to attack you, almost Bullet Heaven style, like Vampire Survivors, except like you're not able to move. So you're just defending and upgrading your tower and weapons in it. And along the way, you're playing like cards. There's a deck building aspect to it in order to protect and upgrade your tower and survive more and more waves. So this is definitely one that's kind of up there for me to check out and try out myself. Let's see. Poker Quest is actually another one that I've been really interested in. I have played the demo for Poker Quest before, and it was really fun. The art style at times is a little, it's okay, but the gameplay itself is really nice. So you play poker cards and hands and combos in order to activate your moves. There's different heroes, over 20 unique heroes that you can play as, thousands of items. And it's a roguelike game where you just go through and try to get as far as you can. And honestly, it was really good, really interesting. With that in mind, there is a similar game to this, which I already own and already have played, that I'll recommend here for you now. And we'll see if it's on sale or not. And that game is Aces and Adventures. This is one that I want to bring to the channel at some point and at least showcase for you. This came out this year. Again, this is another one where you're going to be using poker hands in order to fight in combat. Very, very cool title. Fully voiced campaigns, roguelike modes, etc. It looks like it is currently 40% off for $12, and I really would recommend it for that price. It's got a lot of content. I've got almost 6 hours played in it so far, and it's really just been one of those games that every time I play it, I want to be really immersed in it, and so it's hard for me to just boot it up randomly and play a few minutes here and there, because I'm like, oh, I really want to sit down and I want to have like an hour-long play session every time, and that's probably literally the only reason I don't have like 20 plus hours in this game yet. So this one comes highly recommended from me, Aces and Adventures. So Poker Quest, probably going to be a pickup for me this time around. Let's see, do we have anything else here? This is a big, long list, actually. Tons of stuff here. I've played a lot of these games, so if you have questions about anyone in particular, please feel free to let me know, and I will give you an opinion on them. Some of them I'm passing over because, you know, I don't really think they're worth mentioning. Some of them I haven't played too much, or some of them the discount is just not very good. Void Bastards is one that I've played a demo of. It's got very positive reviews. It's a first-person roguelike, 70% off here, $9. I would recommend it if you like first-person shooter games and you like roguelikes. This is definitely a good one to check out. Dotage is only 15% off. This is a recently released and very popular game. I'm really looking forward to doing a video for the demo here on the channel pretty soon. And yeah, just 15% off. That's not that big of a sale, so you're gonna have to really want to play that one to pick it up right now as part of the Steam sale, because this is the time where you want to take advantage of the sales, right, to save money. Deepest Chamber is another one I've really been looking at, a deck building game, dungeon crawling deck building game. Came out here recently, October 24th. It's 25% off for less than $10, and to be honest, like, that might make my list, even though it's not a steep discount, because it's pretty new and I've actually really been wanting to check it out. I've seen some other content creators play it, and it looks like it has a good vibe, good atmosphere, and so I've been wanting to look at it myself. All right, what else do we have? Oh, was that Ziggurat? Oh, that was Ziggurat too. Okay, gotcha. That's another series of kind of first-person shooters, but magic-based, that are pretty fun. Oh, Wargroove. What's the discount on that? Oh, only 15% off. Okay, I am pretty interested in trying out Wargroove. It's a kind of like Fire Emblem style game. Wargroove 2 here came out recently, and I was really excited to check it out, but it came out to some mixed reviews, and so as a result, I didn't end up pulling the trigger on it. I'm probably going to wait for this one to be at closer to a 50% discount before I pick it up. Synthetic 2, only 25% off. Again, I'd probably wait for one here. I really enjoyed the first Synthetic game. They quickly came out with Synthetic 2 in early access. This game has been in early access for about 2 years now, which is a pretty long time for an early access period. And so as a result, I'm like, you know, I either want a steeper discount in order to check this game out, or I want you to actually like show me that you're getting close to a 1.0. And it does not look like that is the case for either of them. But that being said, I can recommend Synthetic Ultimate to you as a roguelike top-down shooter that you can play with a friend. It does have some co-op. This game is very, very nice if you want something that is relatively challenging. And I say that because you have to be precise. You have to have precision in this game. You have to manually reload. If you mess up the reload, the gun will lock, and then you've got to wait for it. You need to take cover. The enemies here are very aggressive. It's a fairly tough game, but it's really fun if you can get into it yourself, and especially if you can get into it with a friend who's not terrible at these games. Then Synthetic Ultimate is a lot of fun. I have over 6 hours played, and that was pretty much all with someone. And the main reason I don't have more hours played in Synthetic Ultimate is because it is a game that I pretty much always want to play with someone, and sometimes it can be a little bit challenging, a little bit difficult to make that time to play with someone. And then a lot of times, by the time you do get that time, there's another game that you want to play together with somebody. But this one, Synthetic Ultimate or Legion Rising, is very good, and I would recommend it. It looks like it's on sale for $4. That's a steal in my opinion. And I saw another one here, Soulstone Survivors. I have a video up for this one on the channel. I highly recommend this game. If you like bullet heaven games like Vampire Survivors, then this is probably my favorite one on the market that I've played right now, though there are a couple that have come out here recently that I've been very curious about but haven't gotten to play yet. They just recently released a new update for this game, the 1-year anniversary celebration and update, where they reworked their rune system completely. They added match history, new enemies, all kinds of stuff. So game was already really solid prior to this. I haven't played this new update yet, but I'm going to soon to make a video for it here on the channel, and I would highly recommend this one. It's only 25% off, but the game only is $10 to begin with, so 25% off, $7.50. And I mean, I've got 16 hours played in this game, and I just have not played it as much as I want to yet, so highly recommended if you want a nice bullet heaven style game. I see a couple people have tuned in. If you missed the intro, if you're looking for a particular type of game to play, like a genre or a theme or anything, I would love for you to pop that into the chat and let me help you find a fun and cool game for you to play during the autumn sale here. Ooh, Ender Lilies. This is one that I've really been wanting to pick up for years now, and I've just never pulled the trigger because I don't ever see it go past 50% off. And this is where, again, I'll come over here to is there any deal, and I'll type in Ender Lilies, right? And then I'll look the game up here and see well, has it ever been on sale? So this is not the right one. So it would be that one right here, Ender Lilies. So the historical low has been 50% off. So it is 50% off now. This is pretty much the lowest I ever see this game go. And honestly, I think I've kind of been waiting for a 75% off sale for this one. But this is a Metroidvania game that's really interesting because in the game, you sort of play as this little girl. But you don't actually fight with her. She has these spirits around her that look like characters from Dark Souls, honestly. And those characters are the ones that fight for her. So this creepy nun looking thing or this knight, they're the ones that do the actual combat. And this has been really highly rated. It was in early access, I think, for a while, came out in 2021. And I think I've just been waiting to see something stronger than a 50% discount for this one, and have not gotten it. So I'm going to be checking out this little section here to be able to make some recommendations. So Dead Cells, it says I've only played 2 hours. I played a lot of this game on console. Super, super awesome action platforming style game. It's not as crazy as a Metroidvania game in terms of the platforming mechanics. But it has a lot of action roguelike elements to it. This is one of the most highly rated action platforming roguelike games out there, period. Tons and tons of updates. I think they've still been putting out updates. Let's see. The End of Near update is in the beta phase. So, I mean, they're still working on updates, and this game came out in 2018. Over 120,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. And Dead Cells right now 40% off for $15. Like, that might seem like a big number for a Steam sale, to have $15 for a, you know, indie action roguelike. I'm telling you, $15 for Dead Cells is a steal. Absolutely. And then the other game that I saw here that popped up in similar to is going to be Darkest Dungeon, which is super old, and I'm sure most people have heard of this, but since I saw it here, I want to pull it up for you. So Darkest Dungeon, really great turn-based fantasy game. I've got over 15 hours played in the game just on this platform. I played some on some other platforms as well, but in this you basically take a party of 4 into these horrible decrepit dungeons where it's just the nightmare. You have to constantly battle not only against the enemies that you fight, but against the horrors that are out there. Your sanity and all sorts of stuff comes into play. Your people get cursed. They end up with mental health issues and all kinds of stuff. But it makes for a pretty compelling game with many classes to it. A really strong modding community as well. And again, over 110,000 very positive reviews here, and it's on sale for 80% off at $5, and that really is, in my opinion, like a steal for a really great game. And this visual style will hold up over time. I mean, this game is going to look gorgeous even if you play it 5 years from now. Let's see, anything else that's popping out here? I don't think so. I know we're getting into some weird stuff. We're getting into the stuff that's much further out. Actually, an Unco is one that has caught my eye as well. So this one came out here recently in 2023. It's another sort of bullet heaven game, but not really. You can see here in the video, like, there are hordes and stuff that come in. You got to defend yourself, but there's a lot of additional elements at play in Ananko because it's kind of a survival style game. You actually have to, in the matches themselves, you have to go around and you have to, like, collect resources, gather things in order to upgrade your gear, upgrade your character. So you can see here, like, this person's like hunting, it looks like, and gathering like meat or bones or something from a deer. So there's this additional element where you're not just on the map because hordes are coming in and you want to fight them and destroy them, but you are out there trying to, like, do stuff in the map while the hordes are coming in, which is really interesting. Brian, didn't get a notification when you went live. You probably won't, just because the channel's not that big and this is the first time I'm going live. So YouTube can be weird about live streams sometimes. This is not my first time live streaming by any means, but it is the first time here on the channel. So, but nice to see you. Thanks. I appreciate all your comments that you drop on the videos. Brian takes the time to write these nice, elegant comments that are pretty inspirational, so I appreciate that. So yeah, an Anko, you know, it's only $5 to begin with, and I think it's really interesting. I might end up picking this one up. $4. I mean, $4, $5, what's the difference, right? That doesn't even cover a Coke these days. But this one I've definitely had my eye on. And again, that's going to pull in Soulstone Survivors, which I just mentioned as a recommendation. It also recommends Warhammer Vermintide, which personally I'm not going to recommend. It's not a terrible game, but I'm not going to recommend it. Vampire Survivors, you know, what is there to say about this game? Over 200,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. Pretty much the creator of the bullet hell genre. Lots of content updates, lots of DLC, or a couple DLCs available as well. I mean, you could probably get the whole package for Vampire Survivors for like $10, I would imagine. Yeah, so right here, actually, you can get Vampire Survivors. You can get the Legacy of the Moon Spell DLC, which came out in December 2022. And you can get the Tides of the Foscari, which came out in April 2023. Both of the premium DLCs for $5.72. So $6, and you will have tons and tons of content on your hands. If that's something you're looking for, honestly, at this point, I might just grab it just because that's kind of a steal there. It's normally $8.97. That's crazy. It's crazy to me that this game is so cheap, but I mean, can you imagine? The developer is making bank off this game because they did a great job. These games are ones you think you will showcase in the future. Not all of them, some of them. I'm going through basically making recommendations for things that I think are worth. It's kind of a combination, like what am I looking at to pick up on the Steam sale that either I've just been wanting or wanted to play. And yes, some of those will probably end up featured on the channel, but also I'm trying to recommend games that I have already played that are maybe older, that may not end up on the channel, but I think are worth you taking a look at if you're interested in that type of game and you want to pick up something on sale. Wild Frost, I really want to play. I played the demo. I enjoyed it. It came out to mixed reviews. It is a roguelike deck builder that I frankly enjoyed quite a bit, but those mixed reviews and just a couple things kept me from pulling the trigger on it, and I just want it to be cheaper than 15% off. I was hoping for a 25 or maybe like a 50% off. We're still at 15%. It came out this year, so it hasn't even been out for a year yet. But I was just hoping for a bigger discount. So I'm kind of disappointed because this is one I would have purchased, but I'm going to wait for either those reviews to come up and to see more content coming out for it, more updates, or for a steeper discount. So let's see, because I think, yeah, we've got some bug fixes and a beta came out on September 29th, but the beta doesn't have like a whole heck of a lot going on with it. I think the most recent update is probably like middle of the year. So yeah, I'm just hesitant to pull the trigger on it here. That being said, okay, we got two similar games here. If you have not heard of and played Slay the Spire, please just go play it. Just go pick it up. It's a fantastic game. Over 120,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. This is the game that kicked off the roguelike deck building genre, period. And funny thing is I think I'm actually one of the first people that streamed this game on Twitch, not through Pixel Pathfinder, through a different channel, because I was working overnight. I came home. I was like, hey, Slay the Spire just came out. And I bought the game because I was like, yeah, this looks like my cup of tea. I love card games. And I immediately went to Twitch and started streaming it. And so I think I'm one of the first people that actually streamed Slay the Spire when it released. So that's just a fun little tidbit for you there. But this game is 66% off for $8.50. I'm telling you, that's 100% like a steal for the amount of playtime you can get. I have 147 hours in Slay the Spire, and there's no way I played it as much as I could have. Slay the Spire is so great, absolutely. And then that brings me to a game that I actually really enjoy. Backpack Hero. This just came out in the 1.0 release on November 14th. I already have 2 or 3 videos recorded for Backpack Hero, so this is going to be on the channel this week or next week. I love this game. It's so much fun. I played it back when it first went into... I played the demo, then I played it when it went into early access. And I played a solid 8 hours, I want to say. I played about 8 hours of... All they had at the time was a roguelike mode, where you basically just went in and you went down these dungeons and tried to see how far you could get. I played that for about 8 hours in like a weekend. It's fun. And I stopped because I was like, okay, I like this game. I'm just going to wait for the 1.0 release. Between then and the 1.0 release, they added in a whole story mode that has town building and just all this kind of interesting stuff in it. This game is super fun. It's 100% coming to the channel as a roguelike runs video here. I mean, I'm telling you, I think I have 2, maybe 3 videos done for it already. I've got a couple here. Let's see. I've got 2 videos done for it right now that are just sitting here waiting, and one of them will be up on the channel probably this week. So Backpack Hero, it's only 15% off, but it just came out. It's a very fun game. If you want to pick it up, highly recommended from me, but you could also wait for the video to come out on the channel and get a little bit more detail. Estrella is another one I played the demo of. It's really fun. I want to feature it on the channel, but I'm just waiting for it to drop more than 10% off because there's just so much stuff to cover right now that I can't really justify buying a full price game to showcase it on the channel when there's like 10, 12 other things in the queue that I could be covering. So either I'll run out of stuff and I'll get to Estrella eventually, or it'll drop down to a discount, or I'll get a key and I'll feature it on the channel here. But this is a turn-based dice building game. So instead of building cards and a deck of cards, you're building dice and changing the face on them to adapt and use that to fight battles. It's got a super interesting art style, cool looking characters. I played the demo a couple Next Fests ago and it was really, really good. And I immediately put it on my wish list. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because, you know, we've all got limited disposable income, right? And I think that's kind of bringing us, yep, that brought us back around to the front here. So what I want to do to kind of finish off this category is just kind of roll through and see if there's anything that really stands out to me. Maybe take a look at some of these, you know, all items, top sellers, top rated, things like that. So we'll maybe take a look at, you know, the first chunk of what's on this tab here, and then we'll move on to a different category. So we talked about a bunch of these already. Risk of Rain Returns, not on sale, but again, very fun. Hades, I mean, if you don't know what Hades is, you've probably been sleeping under a rock. Fantastic action roguelike game. Hades and Hades 2 are some of the only indie games that have made it to Game Awards and other prestigious award ceremonies, so absolutely check that out. Weird that Elden Ring is here and there's no discounts, but that's okay. We'll skip the new and trending for now. We'll check out the top sellers, see if anything else pops up in here that we haven't talked about already. Death Must Die, that's one I'm looking to cover here on the channel pretty soon. That is like a combination of Hades, Diablo, and Vampire Survivors. I played the demo and it was pretty fun. Anything else? Oh, Skull the Hero Slayer. So, and Hollow Knight, actually. Okay, so Dead Cells, Skull the Hero Slayer, and Hollow Knight are all relatively similar games with slight differences. So Dead Cells I talked about already. Skull the Hero Slayer is very similar to Dead Cells, except it has a interesting mechanic to it. This is more of an action roguelike with platforming in it. It's not quite at the level of a Metroidvania in terms of complexity and precision and platforming, but it's a pretty cool game in the sense that your hero is kind of a skeleton. And what the hero does is as you go along, you take skulls from your enemies that you fight or that you draft, you know, through rewards, and you put the skulls on your head and it gives you different abilities and different powers. It's really, really fun. I really enjoy this game. I'm not very good at it. And that being said, I still, you know, put in a solid, this seems wrong. I've put in more than 3 hours to Skull the Hero Slayer. I think I played some of it on console as well. It's a bunch of fun, and it just came out with a new DLC, the Mythology Pack. So it added a Hunter Skull, which is like a bow ability here, sniper. You can kind of see. If you look, when you put on that different skull, it changes your outfit and the way your character looks. So pretty crazy. And then they added the Gambler as well. So you can see the Gambler looks a little bit different here. Kind of looks like a cowboy version of Gambit from X-Men. And then, yeah, so a new DLC just came out, which is pretty interesting because they haven't had an update for a while. 50% off, $10. To me, it's fun enough to play for $10. If this is not really your genre, your cup of tea, it's probably still going to be decently fun, but, you know, it's up to you. Nikki, oh, I wouldn't have realized there's an autumn sale if I didn't see this stream. Hey, well, you know, that's a win, right? And then hopefully you can pick out some cool games to pick up along the way. The art style for Skull, the Hero Slayer, Brian, yeah, it's gorgeous. I like it a lot. It's very thematic, very cool. I would recommend that one. And then also Hollow Knight. This is another oldie but goodie. 50% off for $7.50. Another game I'm not very good at, and I've played more on console than I have on Steam. I've always wanted to play through this game like fully, but you know, I just haven't. I don't know. Maybe one day it'll end up as a Let's Play on the channel, or the sequel, which is Hollow Knight Silk Song. Maybe that one will end up on the channel, but over 280,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. This is more of a Metroidvania, and it's a Souls-like game. So this is not really the kind of game for someone who just wants to run around and beat stuff up. This is for the people that want challenging platforming. They want challenging combat. They want a challenge. But again, the art style here is gorgeous, and it plays very well. Thematically is so cool. You're kind of like in this world of bizarre bugs. Exactly. And again, over 280,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews are probably not wrong. I've played this one a little bit myself, and again, it's one of the very few games that continues to be on my list of things that I feel like I should play through all the way, even if it's been 5 years or 10 years since the game came out. So I think that's gonna let's touch on some coming soons real quick, and then we'll move on to a different genre. Okay, Cross Blitz. This is 100% going to be on the channel as a roguelike series here, and probably as a Let's Play. This game is, the way I would put it, which is an oversimplification, is if someone made a single player version of Hearthstone, the card game. I played 2 different demos for this game. I actually think I recorded, I don't know why I just opened Steam. I actually recorded a video for Cross Blitz. Oh man, it's somewhere in here. Right here, look, I recorded a video for this back in like September, actually, of the new video, or the new demo. I just haven't actually posted that. And they just announced that they're releasing it to early access on November 29th, and I am hyped. Like, I'm so hyped for this. This would have been one of my top most anticipated games for 2024, but they just out of nowhere dropped it for this year at the end of November, and so I'm very excited for it. It has a roguelike mode, it has story modes, it has fantastic art, cool themes, cool deck building. I am beyond hyped for this game, so I wanted to mention it. It's coming to the channel. We'll have a video for this probably within a couple days of it actually coming out. I did reach out to the developer to see if they'll, provide me with a key, but if they don't, I'm just paying for it with my own money. I don't even care. I mentioned let's see, Ember Path a little bit. Let's see, Backpack Battles I have played, but it is primarily a PvP game, and that kind of turns me off from it a little bit. I actually did make a video for it, but it had an issue with the recording where it didn't show anything on the screen, so I had to scrap it. Tevi is one that I've kind of got my eyes on, but this is one that you really want to play, I think, with multiple people. It's kind of like a bullet hell Metroidvania where you fight like MMO style raid bosses over and over again. I'm really looking for someone that I can play these types of games with that are better with multiple people. But this game looks really cool, and it also looks like I would just get destroyed by this repeatedly. So I don't know if I'll actually pick this up and play it because it looks too difficult for me. It honestly just looks, yeah, it looks really rough. But I like the art style, I like the characters, the combat looks really fun. But, there's a certain amount of fun to be had by playing a game that you're not good at and trying to get better. And then there's games that just kick your butt and stomp you into the ground. So video game backlog, so many games, so many times, so little time. Absolutely. Oh, yep, there's Hollow Knight Silk Song, so the sequel to Hollow Knight. And let's see, anything else here? I think I played the demo for Phantom Blade. Hades 2, obviously that's pretty hype. Okay, so I think that's going to do it for us for right now for the roguelike genre. Obviously, we could get into that a little bit more if we wanted to, but there's only so much time. Okay, so looking at the other categories here, I'm not going to look at something that's specifically about the Steam Deck. If you have a Steam Deck, go click on it and check it out. Free to play, again. A lot of that's going to be live service style games, and I've basically just checked out from those. You said so many games, so little time. I definitely don't want to play games that want me to treat their game like a job. Survival is not a genre that I'm super interested in on a personal level, but I have played some stuff. I'll try to jump in here and give some really quick feedback on what I see. I think we're just going to scroll down to kind of like the, the content blocks here, and I'll try to let you know what I've at least looked at. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, mixed reviews. I was really excited for this when it first came out, but they just came out with a new update, and I still haven't played enough to recommend it. Grounded has always looked really cool, but again, that's another one that's better played with multiple people, and the amount of games I can play like that are pretty limited, so I've passed on that repeatedly. Satisfactory is a pretty fun game, but it's very... You sink your teeth into Satisfactory. You don't just boot this one up for a half hour or an hour and try to make progress. This is a multi-hour base building game that you can check out. Let's see, what else do we have? All items here. Talked about Risk of Rain 2 already. Got Hunt. Let's go to top sellers. Anything on here? No Man's Sky has made a ton of improvements since it first came out. It's still not really my cup of tea. Terraria, super popular, and again, not my cup of tea. I've tried to play this one a couple of different times, and I just can't get into it. Valheim is actually very good. 40% off at $12. You'll probably get a lot of time out of Valheim if you're interested in it. It's an open world survival crafting game with a pretty robust base building system to it. And it's kind of set in like a Viking setting with some magic and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm in the forest trying to survive. It's got some little mythology stuff in there. You fight like weird, demigods and things like that as you progress through it. I have played this one for a couple hours, I think. I played it with my wife. We played around 5 hours, and what we played was really fun. We thought it had a lot of potential, but that's actually going to bring me to a recommendation for a game that will absolutely be featured here on the channel in the future, that my wife and I have enjoyed quite a lot, that's in a similar vein to Valheim. It has a little bit of the survival element, but not a lot, and that is going to be Core Keeper. Okay, Core Keeper, is it on sale? It's on sale for 33% off. Okay, Core Keeper, this is a game that my wife and I absolutely love. And you're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh, it looks like 70 other games that I've seen. And why should I bother with this one over other ones? Well, I don't know what it is about Core Keeper, but they have just found the magic in the loop of what will keep you playing for hours and hours and hours. So you start out just dropped off at this base underground, and then you're just going to go and you're just going to mine your way to a resource, and you use that resource to build things. And then those things allow you to go deeper, to find a different resource, to build different things. And along the way, you're going to fight all sorts of cool bosses. You don't have classes, but you have different skills, and the more you use your skills, the more they level up, kind of like in a MMO, like maybe like weapon skills in World of Warcraft, classic, I guess, things like that. And so you can kind of spec your character in a particular direction. The graphics in the game, they're just awesome. The lighting system is great. They've continually been updating this with new biomes, new content constantly, and they just announced that their 1.0 and console launch is coming in summer of 2024. So I'm really excited about this. My wife and I played this. Let's see, we've put almost 10 hours in, and this is basically what we did. The game came out in early access. We picked it up. We played for about 6-7 hours to get really kind of deep into the initial content was there. And we said, hey, this game is great. let's put it down. Let's come back for the 1.0 when all the content is there. And actually just recently in the past 2 weeks, we were like, you know, like I know the 1.0 is not out, but we want to play again. And so we hopped in for a 2.5 hour session and I was like, yep, it's still just as addictive as it was before. And then a couple days later, they came out and said, hey, 1.0 summer 2024. So we just went, okay, we have a date now. Let's push pause. And we're just going to no life this game for, you know, a week or two when it comes out. So highly recommend this. You can pick it up for the 33% off here for $10. There's tons. I mean, hours and hours of content. I mean, we played for like 6 or 7 hours, and the only thing they had released at launch was like 1 or 2 biomes, and they've added like 2 or 3 since we played at that point. So tons of content. I would highly recommend this game. Cool, there's a game out there for both you and your wife to enjoy. Yeah, you know, I have a good dynamic with my wife where we like a lot of the same things. You know, we both like video games, but we like different types of video games mostly. And so we can talk to each other about the video games, but, you know, we're not really constantly, you know, putting up with each other and dealing with each other on the games. Or, you know, I'm playing over here, she's playing something else over there. But then there's a good, like, 10 to 20% overlap where we find something that we're like, it works for both of us, and then we get to play together. And you know, we do that in spurts. And that actually brings me to a couple more recommendations that I have for you. So just here recently, For the King 2 came out. I imagine it's not going to be on a discount. It's not. So I'm still going to recommend it. I know it says mixed. People have had a lot of problems. I experienced none of those issues, and it's been nothing but good. This game came out November 2nd, and I have put in almost 16 hours already. And all 16 of those hours were playing in a 4-person party through this game. It's fantastic. But if you want to check out the For the King formula for a discount, you can head over to the original For the King, and you can pick this one up. It still is going to be fantastic. It's still going to play great. It'll be fun to get into and play this game, and it's going to be discounted for $5, and that's a steal. I've got 25 hours played on For the King, and a lot of that was playing co-op with 2 other people. So For the King 1 has parties of 3. For the King 2 has parties of 4. And you can, if you don't have, like, if you're playing with just a buddy, you can both control 2 characters in For the King 2, or you can control, you know, 2 and someone can control 1 in For the King 1. But this game is fantastic. I don't know if For the King 2 is going to end up featured on the channel, because one thing to note about this, it's a strategic tabletop RPG. So you have like kind of a open world that you travel around on these hexes and you encounter different events. It's a roguelike, but this is not a game where the run lasts 30 minutes. This is a game where the run lasts multiple hours. So if you're going to play this and play with friends, you can pick up the save file afterwards. Like, let's say you're playing with a couple friends and, you know, you all get together, you play for 3-4 hours, and then they dip out and you're like, well, I kind of want to continue that game. As long as they're cool with it or whatever, you can boot up the save and you can play all the characters so you can finish out a run. But this is not, this is a, we're going to spend the entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, playing this. And if we don't lose, if we don't get destroyed, we're still going to end up playing it afterwards. So this is, it says roguelike, but not in that like, yeah, let's just hit a run and we're going to die in 30 minutes. You may die in 30 minutes, but fantastic series. I recommend both games. Still recommend For the King 1 if you just want to check it out. And then the other game that I thought of here when I was talking about, you know, playing games with my wife, because we play For the King together as well, is Astroneer. Astroneer, I don't know if it'll end up at the channel at any points, but I love this game. I have almost 55 hours played. I do not like open world survival crafting games. I just don't. It is not my cup of tea, and that's exactly what Astroneer is. It's an open world survival crafting game. I also really don't like sci-fi, and this is literally in space going from planet to planet. It's all the things I don't like, and yet somehow I have 55 hours played in Astroneer because they just do something. They have some kind of magic in this game that just makes you want to, again, just keep the loop going. I'm going to go explore here and gather this resource and do this. And there's all different sorts of stuff you can do in this game. And if you're playing with friends, it's nice to sort of divvy up the different roles, right? So when I played Astroneer, what would I do? I would always work on building vehicles that I could take out and explore and find all the weird stuff on the planet. Then I would bring it back and I would work on building the base, right? Along the way, I was putting down markers and things so that my wife, who likes to do the crafting gathering stuff, would go out and she would do all the actual gathering and be like, okay, I'm going to get, this resource, bring it back to base. And she would start crafting the things that we needed to expand the base. So it's just a super fun game. And basically what happens is you land on a planet and you collect all this stuff. You build as much as you possibly can. You build your little base. Then you work on building a rocket. When the rocket's ready, you pack up what you can from your base, you put it on the rocket, and then you launch yourself to an entirely different planet that has new resources, new biome, new hazards, and new things for you to figure out. Then you do it all over again so you can build a better rocket to launch yourself to another planet. And so again, this can be a game that you can play for hours and hours and hours. It also has craft macaroni in it, which I know is a weird comment. I saw it in the video, but that's what I always called it. One of the resources looks like craft macaroni noodles, so it's just fun. And this game doesn't have any like combats or like enemies in it. The hazards that you face are like running out of oxygen or falling down a hole that you can't get out of, or different things like that. Tons of fun, and it looks like it's on sale for 60% off for $12. Highly recommended. Absolutely. All right, so, and did I lose? I just want to make sure I didn't lose a game that I had on my list here as one that I was, okay, I didn't. Okay, it popped up in the beginning. I am keeping a couple games open in tabs here that I'm interested in checking out. Dredge is one that I've really been wanting to pick up. It's a like fishing horror game that also has a strong inventory management aspect to it, much like Backpack Hero does. So you go out on your boat and you're out in these mysterious waters where there's like Cthulhu stuff going on essentially. And you go out there to fish and catch things, and you have to kind of like arrange the fish in your boat and determine what you're going to bring back with you. This is over 18,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. Came out this year, and they just, I think they either just came out with, or yeah, they just came out with a new DLC for this one called The Pale Reach, I believe. They have so many Steam Award promotions here. Yeah, The Pale Reach. So they just came out with the first DLC for this, so they're still pumping out content for it. This is one that I would love to maybe feature on the channel. It was a toss-up between either buying Dredge or buying Cult of the Lamb, and I went with Cult of the Lamb initially. But Dredge is on that list. You'll have to excuse me. I do not feel well, but I had this stream scheduled, so I wanted to do it because it's the first stream on the channel. But I actually came home sick from work today because I've been feeling unwell. I work in a hospital, so there's a pretty good chance that, I caught something that was floating around there. So we'll see what happens. That said, I do have plenty of videos already recorded to put up on the channel if I do happen to get sick. Don't Starve Together is a game my wife really loves. Again, an open world survival crafting game. I've tried to play this with her multiple times and I just can't get into it. But this is a game that is highly beloved and well rated. Over 288,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. Fantastic art style. You can pick it up for $5 right now. And if you're into this kind of game and you haven't played Don't Starve Together yet, you probably should. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for the survival genre for me, unless someone asks specifically for some recommendations. Also seen Astro on a couple of different YouTube channels. Looks cool, but there are tons of other games out there. Yeah, you got to have the right game at the right time. All right, adventure I feel is super broad. Simulation we could check out. Fighting games, I don't play a lot of them. So I think we'll probably skip that one. And then we might take a look at open world games. I've played quite a few of those. I probably have some recommendations there. So let's take a look at this simulation genre. All right, I do want to see what's recommended for me. So Against the Storm is coming into 1.0 here on December something. So Against the Storm is a game I'm at least going to showcase on the channel. I don't know if it'll be a series or anything, but this is a roguelike city builder. And they do this in such an interesting way because what happens is you go out and you have what looks kind of like, to me, a Slay the Spire layout for the area you're going to be in. And I think they show a good image of it here in the 1.0 trailer. So I want to try to find it. All right. It's going to unmute itself. It is what it is. Here we go. Here's the picture. Okay, so if you look here, what this is you kind of like have this Blight Watch and you have Storm Glen. You have this map that you're traveling through, but each one of these maps is like a challenge. It's a city building challenge. It's so weird to explain this. Like in Slay the Spire or other roguelike games, each dot that you visit is a combat, it's a store, it's an event. In Against the Storm, each dot that you visit is like a combat, but instead of combat, you are trying to meet a city building goal. And so what you're gonna do is there's gonna be a procedurally generated map. You're gonna have objectives that you need to complete. You're gonna have a random assortment of buildings and things that you're able to access in order to meet that goal. And you have to basically try to win that map from city building in order to continue to progress. So you drop in, you build your city, try to meet the goal. If you do, then you continue your run and go to a different section where you're dropped in with new challenges, a different set of resources, a different procedurally generated map. It just looks really awesome and like exactly the kind of game that I'd want to play. I played the demo for this. My wife played the demo for it. We both really enjoyed it. It's got over 14,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. And you can pick it up now for 35% off. And to be quite honest, you know, I would grab it, but I think I have access to it through a Steam library that I have access to. So I may just play it from there, but I would probably pick this one up. If you're into roguelikes and city builders, this is definitely one to really keep an eye on. And like I said, the 1.0 release, December 8th is when it's coming out. Super interesting, super unique. It's got different races and things that you can play as well. And it's like a dark fantasy game. So you have magic components, and you know the races that you have are things like elves and beast folks and lizard people and different stuff like that. So looks really, really good. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Dome Keeper, I already mentioned. Dyson Sphere program is interesting, but it's only 10% off, so I would pass. Potionomics, I was really excited about, and then I feel like it just didn't really pan out for the 1.0 release. Rift Breaker was another kind of interesting one, but I think that price is still pretty high. Sunhaven is a interesting game to check out if you like Stardew Valley. So Sunhaven is not one that I have played a lot, but my wife has played a lot of this one. And this is one that you can play Stardew Valley style, but you can play it co-op with up to 8 people at a time. And this game was designed from the ground up for co-op. And it's very, very similar to Stardew Valley, except it has that built from the ground co-op, and it has a fantasy element to it. So there's, you know, dragons and foxes and krakens and like all this sort of weird stuff in there. 10,000 very positive reviews, 30% off, $17.49. I would personally probably still wait until it was at least 50% off, but if you really love this genre and you really love like Stardew Valley and you're looking for a new type of game to play that is fully released and not one that's just upcoming and has a demo, I would probably check out Sunhaven. Or maybe check out Moonstone Island, which I featured here on the channel. I'm pretty sure Moonstone Island is not going to be on sale though. Let's see. Yeah, it's 20% off for 16 bucks. So this one is brand new, just came out in September, and they're continually updating this one. This is another one I need to continue and make another episode for. Yeah, up to 8 people. It's kind of crazy for Sunhaven. And then obviously, if you've looked at some of the other games that have been featured on the channel, you know, things like Spirit Tea, Moonstone Island, maybe even like Slime Rancher, which that video just came out here recently. And you haven't played Stardew Valley, this is kind of the game that, you know, kicked this whole thing off. It's not the first farming simulation game. You know, we have stuff like Harvest Moon and things like that have been coming out since the PlayStation era. But I mean, this really is the game that made the genre huge. Not a lot of games on Steam have over 520,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. So Stardew Valley, I mean, you can pick this up 20% off for 12 bucks. I mean, it's Stardew Valley. Like, just get it if you like these kind of games. 12 bucks for the amount of game time you're going to get in Stardew Valley is ridiculous. I have 7.5 hours in Stardew Valley and I don't like it. I know that's going to sound weird, but I just can't get into Stardew Valley because it doesn't have the loops that are in here are not the kind that I like. Okay. I don't want to just like gather resources and farm and then that's the end of the story and occasionally go into the dungeon and do some combat. I like, in my games like this, I like to fight things, I like to explore, and I like to build bases. And you kind of can fight things in Stardew Valley and like the caverns and stuff. Explore, not so much. And base building, not really. It's farming, which makes sense. That it's a farming simulation game. So it kind of misses the mark for me in places. All 7.5 hours of this, probably a quarter of it is me trying to play by myself, and the rest of it is me trying to play with, you know, my wife or other friends. And it just doesn't click for me, but it's clicked for a ridiculous amount of other people. Nikki says, love Sunhaven, was recommended it since it was similar to Stardew. Want to go back and continue my 60-ish hour save file on it. Yeah, the amount of content and time you can put into these games is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, Stardew Valley is, again, 20% off, but you're going to get your money's worth. Spirit Tea, or however you're supposed to spell it. Yeah, Spirit Tea is, you know, I'm keeping my eye on it. I want to see what the developer does for it post-launch. This is not going to be one that's going to be discounted at all. It literally just came out this month, like last week. But I want to see some updates like this, you know. Lots of bugs fixed and even more coming later this week. I want to see a lot more of this type of stuff from Spirit Tea. I want to see an update that says, hey, we worked on the controls. Because that was a big issue for me when I played the demo. Like, enough that I don't want to continue to play it until I see some more updates. Also, I don't own the game, so that's another thing. I don't know if I would spend my hard-earned cash on Spirit Tea over a game that's in a genre that I actually really like and would play a bunch on my own and not just play for the channel. Not seeing a whole lot else in simulation right now. Dave the Diver is 20% off. This is one I eventually want to do a Let's Play of on the channel, but I opted for Cult of the Lamb for now. I was kind of looking at some analytics and trying to figure out, you know, what games would be worth me trying to bring to the channel in terms of YouTube actually getting the videos out there. And Dave the Diver, Dredge, and Cult of the Lamb were all kind of in the same spot. And I decided to go with Cult of the Lamb for now. But eventually Dave the Diver will show up, because I want to play it. All right, we got back to the loop there. Let's check these out. I've been pretty interested in playing Teardown, but I don't know too much about it. All right, let's check out our top sellers, see if we really missed anything that I really wanted to talk about. Probably not. Civilization 6 for $6? Wow. Okay, that's actually a pretty good deal. If you like turn-based strategy games, the Civilization series is just really great. It is I'm pretty sure Civ is the origin of the one more turn. So Civ 6 for $6 is kind of crazy. You'll get a lot of playtime out of that, whether you play solo or play with someone else. Planet Zoo for $13.50 is pretty solid, actually. Planet Zoo is a zoo simulation game. My wife has played this one a whole bunch, and she enjoys it. I think every time this goes on sale, I check and see if there's a DLC that she doesn't have that's on sale now that wasn't on sale before. There's quite a lot of it, but she plays absolutely all of them. So I'll probably do the same thing here, which is I will check and see if she has all these DLCs or not. And if she's missing some, I'll pick them up for her. So I also think I own this game, but yeah, I haven't played it very much. It hurts my brain. If I'm being honest, it kind of hurts my brain. City Skylines 2 just came out, so you could always go back and play City Skylines 1. There is a ridiculous amount of DLC for this game to just add on to your city building experience. 62 DLCs. Some of these are just like radio stations and stuff that you don't need to pick up, but a lot of them are different types of add-on packs and content packs, kind of like playing The Sims. Kind of sad Dave the Diver is only 20%. Wish it dropped lower so it could fit my budget. Again, I'm kind of lucky with Dave the Diver in the sense that I have access to it through a Steam library, so I can check that one out. Even though I don't own it, I could play it at any point, so I do want to bring it to the channel. But I agree, it'd be nice if it was like a 33% off at least. But, you know, it did just come out this year, so... And it's one of those things where if it's a game that came out recently and it's a game that was actually highly rated and looks like they did a really good job, I almost don't want to wait to buy it on a discount because I want to be like, good job, devs. Please keep doing that. Please keep making good games. I don't need to buy your game on a discount. It's like all the middle of the road games that I kind of want to wait and be like, I'll get that on the sale. Y'all can do better. But at the same time, we all have limited budget, right? Limited money, limited time, so sales are nice. What else do we have here? Coral Island just came out. It's not on sale, so too bad. And then Top Rated. We'll check these out too. Anything? Tabletop Simulator. I highly recommend if you like board games. Basically, Tabletop Simulator... It usually only ever goes on sale for 50% off, but I recommend you pick it up if you like board games, because basically Tabletop Simulator is nothing. It's a simulator for a tabletop, and that's about it. But it has hundreds of thousands of mods, and those mods are full-blown board games that you can play with all the components in here. It's a great way to play with friends that are not local. I used to own and operate a tabletop game shop, and I used to use this to kind of connect people in different places to run events and stuff like that. I've used it to kind of like beta test a game I've been working on myself. So really good tool if you like to play board games. Basically, this lets you play them just like you were playing them in person. It doesn't do things for you like automate processes. You have to manually shake the dice. You have to manually flip the cards, but you can do it virtually, and you could do it for all sorts of games that you might want to try before you buy. So I think that's going to cover simulation for me. Let's check out open world real quickly. I don't think this is going to be a very long list here. What are these doing? Why are these here? What? I mean, I guess, but I wouldn't have, like, when I think open world, this is not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking like Assassin's Creed and Shadow of Mordor and stuff like that. So it looks like this is going to be one of those weird categories like adventure, where it's just a hodgepodge of whatever they threw in here. So maybe we'll skip this one for now and we'll come back to it. Let's go to a more specific genre. Co-op, I actually will hop in and talk about some co-op games here, because I like to play co-op games. I like difficult co-op games to play with friends. Civ 6 is really fun. Got it for the PS4 a couple years ago. My wife has played more Civ 6 than me. I haven't played very much Civ 6 at all. Let's see. How many hours do I have in Civ 6? 20. So not very many. But if we look at Civilization 5, which is somehow more expensive, 156 hours. So I played quite a bit of Civ 5 when it came out. Not as much Civ 6, although I probably should jump in and play some more Civ 6 in the future. All right, anyway, let's get back to our multiplayer co-op. Let's see, is there anything in recommended that I've been wanting to check out here? I've touched on some of these already, Endless Dungeon and Raven's Watch. I really wish Orcs Must Die was better than it is. It seems to have gotten some pretty good updates. This is the kind of tower defense I like. Orcs Must Die and Dungeon Defenders, where you get to put out a bunch of traps, but you also control some sort of hero character that you get to, battle with in third person. It looks like the reviews for this one have actually gone up, but still at 60%. No, I want to pick this game up for like $8. It's kind of where I'm at. Like, if you go down to $8, maybe I'll think about it. Because unfortunately, it just released to a lot of like not very good reviews and just complaints about the amount of content and stuff in it. But I still want to pick it up eventually because I just like those kinds of games. Wasteland 3 is a really solid CRPG if you want something that is set in a post-apocalyptic world, kind of like Fallout setting. This is actually, I believe, made by some of the people that made the original Fallout games, which were CRPGs, not the first-person open world style games that they are nowadays. And I played some of this one through Games Pass, I believe. That's where some of my hours in these games are. They're not... Some of them are console, but some of them are on Games Pass, which doesn't get tracked through Steam. Wasteland 3, ton of fun. For $10, you're getting a lot of content out of this one. Tribes of Midgard. Tribes of Midgard, I've had my eye on to check out. It's only $7. Kind of mixed reviews. One I want to play with friends, and my wife is not overly interested in this one, so I just haven't bit the bullet on trying this one out. Weirdly, I've been wanting to pick up Escape Simulator and play that one with my wife or with some friends, but I've still been waiting for this one to hit like a 50% discount instead of a 25%. Oh yeah, I should probably mention Total War Warhammer. No, I won't. It's a lot to get into. There's 3 of them. They all kind of build on each other. I think that could be kind of overwhelming for people. Age of Empires 4. Okay, if there's anybody who's watching this on stream or watches this later, I need opinions here because I think I want to pick up Age of Empires 4. And Age of Empires 4 is a RTS game. Age of Empires series, very popular, very well-known, famous series. I played a ton of Age of Empires 2 way back in the day. I actually used Age of Empires 2 to do a social studies project when I was in elementary school, I think. Elementary school? Or, no, it was middle school, when I was in middle school. And, I really enjoyed it. Age of Empires 3, I sort of skipped over. And Age of Empires 4, I've kind of ignored. They came out with Age of Empires 2 Remastered, which if you have never played the Age of Empires series, I would definitely recommend that you check out the Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition here, which is on sale, 75% off for $5. You really cannot go. If you want an RTS game to play, this game is absolutely dope. Highly recommend it. And they... with this definitive edition, have actually been coming out with new expansions, new DLC, new content. It's kind of insane the amount that they've been doing with this ring. I mean, just look at this. Like, these expansions here, like the Mountain Royals, Return to Rome, these are not expansions that were parts of the original Age of Empires 2. So this is all new content that they're adding. Would highly recommend that you check it out. That being said, I played a ton of Age of Empires 2 back in the day, And I've been looking at Age of Empires 4 because Age of Empires 4 does a couple of things. One, it ups the visuals but maintains the style. But two, what I've been seeing is that there's not as much like breadth of content in terms of number of units and all this kind of stuff, but there's a good amount of depth of content for Age of Empires 4, and that each of the different civilizations you can play as have actual unique mechanics. It's not just a reskin of the same stuff over and over again. They have unique units, unique unit upgrades, unique buildings. There's a pretty good chance I will pick this one up. They also just came out with a brand new expansion called the Sultan's Ascend, which adds the Japanese as well, and that was always one of my favorite civilizations to play as, so it's on my list. I might get it. I don't know. I think it's on Games Pass though, so maybe I just boot up Games Pass for $15 and check it out. Played a long time ago. There's a trophy for surviving 100 days. My friends and I worked up to 99, then got to 100 altogether. Then they did an update and we lost our progress. Was that for Tribes of Midgar? Because that's ridiculous. AoE, great games. Played it on landline back in high school at a friend's house. Yeah, absolutely. What was it? Age of Empires. What was the space one? Moon Project? Was it Moon Project? Moon something. Was one. Stronghold was another one. Man, StarCraft. Yeah, StarCraft. Quite a few. I played so many RTS games that I am now basically sick of RTS games and don't enjoy playing them anymore. Kind of did the same thing with JRPGs. JRPGs and RTS games. That was a lot of my childhood and teenhood, I guess. What else do we have here? Oh, Ninja Turtles. Oh, it's only 30% off. Okay, so this is a game that I started playing on Games Pass, and I've really wanted to pick it up and play with people. I loved Turtles in Time back on the Super Nintendo. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is like an homage to that, with modern updates, modern graphics, additional characters. You know, it's only 30% off, so I would want to see it as much as I like it, I want to see it at a 50% off, or maybe even like a 75% off to pick it up and play through. It's just a beat 'em up game, you know. That's really all it is. Beat 'em up game where you play as the Ninja Turtles. They've added a couple DLCs. They just came out with this one called Shredder's Revenge, where they added a couple of new characters. So I'm trying to see what those character names were. So it's the bunny guy who I've seen in a couple. I think his name is Usagi or something like that. Yeah, legendary samurai rabbit Usagi Miyamoto, which is like a combination of Musashi Miyamoto and Rabbit. And then former Foot Clan member Karai. So adding new characters and stuff there. So yeah, I'm excited to play this one. I won't pick it up on this Steam sale because I want a deeper discount. But you can play that one co-op with, I think, up to 4 friends as well. Cassette Beast is one to check out if you like Creature Collection and you want something that is essentially like an evolution of Pokemon in a particular direction. So it's got an open world. The monsters are really interesting. You kind of summon them by putting your the monster tapes into a tape player, and then they come out. I mean, the monsters look pretty cool. I played the demo for it. It was pretty fun. I didn't bite the bullet on it because it takes a lot for me to get into a Pokemon style game. And yeah, I would want a deeper discount personally for me. I would probably wait until this was like $5 to pick it up and try it out, just because I don't know how much time I'd actually end up putting into it. Let's see, anything else? Hammerwatch 2. Mixed reviews. I still think it would be fun to play, but I'd like to see it at a much bigger discount before I picked it up. Spiritfarer is a game that I would highly recommend. I don't own it. I've only played the demo, but my wife has played this and I've watched her play this, and this is a game that is very heavy on the emotion. You are essentially acting as like a person who ferries spirits into the afterlife, and along the way you are helping them to resolve the issues that they have that are holding them back from passing on. And so it's got all that kind of like emotional, heartwarming stuff built in. Really cool art style. A lot of the gameplay loop is around managing your boat and then doing things that you need to do in order to help people pass on. And this is the farewell edition that has like all the content built into it. 75% off for $7.50. So if that catches your eye, or you go check it out and look up the videos, I can highly recommend this one. It's got over 30,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews as well. Heroes of Hammerwatch is pretty fun. Been playing that with a couple of my friends the last couple weeks. I think I played the regular Hammerwatch, not the Heroes of Hammerwatch. That said, that makes me remember a different game that I can recommend here, which is going to be Gauntlet Slayer Edition. This game is hell fun. It came out like way back in the mid 20s here, mid 2010s, however you say that. But yeah, Gauntlet, sweet game. You could pick it up for $5. I have 1 hour played on Steam. I played this game on PlayStation primarily, and man, you can get a lot of hours out of this. It plays its old school Gauntlet with a new like skin on top of it. It's got the normal classes, your barbarian character, your Valkyrie, your wizard, and your archer. I think it's archer, ranger, whatever it's called. You never know. But you go through and you just do all the typical Diablo stuff. Go through dungeons, scream at your friends when they bash the turkey that you needed to heal yourself. All that kind of stuff. I would highly recommend this game if you have friends to play with. It's fantastic. Sunhaven popped up again. Synthetic popped up again. Let's see. I've heard really good things about Voidigo. I don't know if 25% off is worth the pickup here. I mean, over 2,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. It did come out this year, so a 25% discount is pretty solid. This is very similar to something like Enter the Gungeon, or the other game that I can never remember the name of that I actually played that did not show up here. Is it going to show up anywhere? No, it didn't show up at all. Man, what was that game called? I can't remember. It starts with an N, I think. But similar game. But if you like Enter the Gungeon and sort of like those top-down third-person shooters, that's a good one to pick up. Anything else? Nope, we're back around. We loop back around here. We're just going to glance through the cards. We'll hit the top sellers. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 is not on sale, so why is it even on here? I really hope Baldur's Gate 3 wins Game of the Year. I'm just putting it out there. I really, really hope that they win it. And I think they have a pretty good chance of winning it as well. All right, yeah, I think that covers us for co-op. All right, strategy. That is my bread and butter, so I'm actually going to loop back around to strategy. Virtual reality, racing, role-playing is going to be a big, broad category. So is casual. That's not going to narrow it down enough. Puzzle games, maybe we'll hit that. I think we'll hit puzzle games real quick just to see if there's anything in here. I'm not going to go through the recommended for me, but I'm just going to check and see if there's anything that pops up here that really stands out that I'd want to recommend. Oh, Hidden in Time. Hidden in Time is pretty fun. Let's see. What do we have for top sellers here? I like all the Jackbox Party Pack games. They're fun to play with friends, especially casual friends that don't game. With the holidays coming up, having a Jackbox pack on hand is really fun. They have all these little mini games in them. Everybody can connect to the game from their cell phone and participate that way, and it's just really fun. I would highly recommend, if you have people that come over and you're in a situation where you can hook up a computer to like a TV screen or something like that, grab yourself a Jackbox Party Pack, whichever one looks like it has games in it that you would be interested in, and then everybody can gather around, sit on the couch, sit on the armchair, everybody logs in with their cell phones, and then you all just have a good time. And usually you get a lot of good laughs out of these games, so I would recommend, at least picking up one to play over the coming holidays. Yeah, Jackbox is really good for the holidays. And there's going to be, I imagine there's like a bunch of these that are on sale, and you could probably find one that is pretty cheap. So let's see, Jackbox Party Pack. Let's sort them by price real quick. Yeah, I mean, let's see. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, you know, 15, 16 bucks. You can pick up the, 15, 11, 10. So I have, what do I have? I've got Use Your Words. I've got Fibbage XL. Those are both pretty cheap, $5 a piece. Jackbox Party Pack 3, 7. So I've got a couple of them, and I would recommend all the ones that I have. Like, none of those are ones that I'd be like, nah, don't get that one. They're all pretty good. So good holiday games. All right, so let's pop back over here. All right, so our top sellers, anything else in there to mention? I don't think so. Top rated. We already talked about Inscription. Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, so we're going to go through strategy, and then the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pull up my wish list, my followed list, and my library, and make some recommendations out of those. So let's check out strategy as our kind of last autumn sale page thing here. Oh man, on my wish list. Well, what do you know? This is like one of the first categories I think that came up with stuff that's on my wish list. See, Symphony of War. This is one I want to pick up. I want to play on the channel. But with so many other strategy games coming out, I just held off on getting it. This is a Fire Emblem style game that just looks really amazing. You, instead of having individual units, you put together squads that you build. I would love to know if people are interested in seeing this on the channel, because I've really been wanting to play it. But yeah, essentially what you do is, like, instead of having like just a horseman versus an archer, you actually put together a squad of multiple units that you build however you want, and then you use those to go around and fight your battles. Over 8,000, almost 9,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews here. It also has a DLC as well, called Symphony of War, which adds additional content, new classes, new game plus. I mean, look at these sprite animations. They're just fantastic. This is also where they updated a lot of the visuals. So the visuals you see in this video are not really reflective of what the game looks like at this point. This video is, I think, a little bit more accurate to what you're going to see. So they cleaned up a lot of the sprites and stuff. But this is one where, again, I looked at this and I was like, oh yeah, it's on sale, $12.99. And I was like, let me see here. I'm pretty sure Symphony of War has been less than 10 bucks. And so I wanted to, like right here, Symphony of War. Yeah, well, the lowest price it's been has been 12 bucks. 12 bucks. So that's pretty close. I could spring the extra $1 to pick it up now. So I'm going to leave this one open. So this one plus grabbing the DLC for this one as well. We already talked about Estrella and Wild Frost. Good page to end on. Yes, absolutely. Age of Wonders 4. I'm really excited about this game. And that brings me to a recommendation that I can make for you. So Age of Wonders 4 is out, and that's perfectly fine, right? You're welcome to check that one out. But Age of Wonders 3 is a fantastic game. It came out, we're talking 2014, but it holds up today. I can highly recommend this game for you. This is kind of like the fantasy version of Civ. It's a little bit different. There's more emphasis on combat. You make a hero character that you move around the map. It's kind of got some Heroes of Might and Magic elements to it as well. It's just a heck of a lot of fun. I got 21 hours played here, and I think I played more hours elsewhere. Tons of content. $7.50. You can pick it up for 75% off. I would highly recommend Age of Wonders 3 for anyone who likes anything close to Civilization, Heroes of Might and Magic, or likes turn-based fantasy strategy games. Easy pickup. That being said, Age of Wonders 4 has recently come out. I saw it on here somewhere. It was just scrolling by. And this is one that I have not purchased, but I have access to, and I really want to play and try out. It's an evolution from Age of Wonders 3. Maybe it'll end up on the channel. I don't know, because this is another one where each game is very long. It takes a long time to play through. I just don't know. Some of these like long playthrough games, Age of Wonders, For the King, stuff like that, I think might fit better as potential live streams where it's like, hey, we're going to boot it up. We're going to play a couple hours of a game and hang out and chat together. I'm just kind of waiting for the channel to get big enough where there would be an audience to talk to while I did that, because live streaming to no one is doable. I've done it plenty of times before on different channels, but it's a lot more fun when you get to talk to people. So things like this, I'm looking at that as a different sort of content stream, potentially continuing to make the videos that are anywhere from, 30 minutes to an hour and a half long, showcasing games and doing runs and stuff, but maybe moving some of the longer games and Let's Plays into an eventual like live stream format. So we'll see if that happens. Age of Wonders 4 will probably end up there. All right, so let's go down and we'll check out the featured titles. Let me see if there's anything else on here I really want to mention. Persona 5, I've tried to play several times, and I just cannot do it. I love the art style, I love the concept, I love the combat, I love the UI, and I just do not care about pretending to be a high school boy and doing all the social stuff and the like time gated. I hate the time limiting systems in games, so I just can't do it. That being said, this one right here, Yakuza Like a Dragon, this is another one that I'd like to do maybe as like that sort of Let's Play live stream style game. I own this one and I've only played almost 3 hours, and really the reason I haven't played more than that is because there's so much front-loaded story in this game. It's like you don't even get to play. Like you're just sitting there like, and the story's good, don't get me wrong, it's good, but I'm like, man, is this a visual novel or is this a video game? But it looks absolutely ridiculous and like a lot of fun, and I just have not played it. It's another game that's on my list of like, you have to play through this game. And there's a sequel coming up called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So like, I really just need to get into these. Over 18,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. You can pick it up 80% off for $12. If you like JRPGs, but you're bored of the same like fantasy save the world stuff, look into Like a Dragon. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, yeah, did he just summon a lobster and like fight with it with his cell phone? You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. I think it's a good idea and wait a while, maybe for a milestone stream, like 1,000 subs or something. Yeah, we'll see. I was not really expecting to get anywhere close to 1,000 subs anytime in the near future, but we've had some pretty explosive growth here on the channel recently, actually, like to the tune of several hundred subs in like a week or two, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I would recommend Like a Dragon, even though I haven't played a ton of it yet. What else do we have here? Talked about some of these already. Divinity Original Sin, that's a great pickup, but honestly, just double the money that you would pay for that and get Baldur's Gate 3. Same company, and it's kind of like their magnum opus. Marvel Midnight Suns, I was super excited for. It's like Marvel plus deck building, and I was like, yes, this is amazing. And then, man, I just read so much about how much like conversation and dialogue and story there was, and I was like, you know what? No thanks. So maybe if it goes on a super sale, I'll pick it up. But it's been on sale several times since it came out. Anything recommended for me that we did not talk about? Age of Wonders Planetfall, same thing as Age of Wonders, but sci-fi setting. Again, sci-fi is not really my cup of tea, so I was excited about that one, but I did not pick it up when it came out. Anything else? We've talked about quite a few of these. Crown Trick's only $5. That's all. I've always been curious about that game. I did play a demo of it one time, but with so many other things coming out, I just haven't picked it up, haven't played it. Tactics Ogre Reborn was one I was really excited about because I love Final Fantasy Tactics, and this is kind of in the same vein, some of the same developers, but again, I just haven't picked that one up yet. Phantom Brigade, I made a video for here on the channel, but ended up not playing more of it because I own it on Epic and I don't open the Epic Game Store or the Epic app ever. Ever. So, oh, wait, we just passed Terra Nil. It's 30% off. Pretty solid game. Kind of a reverse city builder where instead of building out a city, you're trying to restore the landscape that's dead into something that's not dead. Lots of fun. Really enjoy this. Probably wouldn't pick it up for just 30% off. I'd probably wait for a 50. I just saw something else here. Banner of the Maid, I've always had my eye on, but I've never picked it up. Littlewood is really fun. I started a Let's Play series for that here on the channel and didn't finish it out. My wife enjoyed that one quite a bit. It is a city builder type game, a little bit of Stardew Valley vibes as well. All right, I think that'll do it for that. Let's scroll down, see if there was anything missed in these couple of categories here. Top sellers, anything we have not talked about yet. No, I think we've hit most of these. And anything in coming soon that I want to mention here? I don't think so. Some of these games I'm talking about I'm doing a series right now. I actually recorded the second video, but I think it was too long, where I'm talking about the games that I have wishlisted and followed that are coming out in 2024. I put the first video for that out that covered games that started with a number or special character, plus games that started with A or B. And then I recorded a video for C through F, but I think I'm going to cut F out of it and do C through D because it was a little bit long. So that video will be coming up in the next week or so. Okay, so last couple things I want to do here. I want to hit my wish list for you and just check out if there's anything here on sale that we haven't talked about. Chained Echoes. So Chained Echoes and also Sea of Stars are both games that are classic kind of JRPG style games. I lean more towards wanting to pick up and play Chained Echoes. Again, this is a game that I think will eventually make it to the channel as either a Let's Play or as a live stream game. I've played the demo for this, and man, it was so good. I loved it, and the only reason I have not picked it up and played it is because it's the kind of game that I played and I just went, nope, I need to have time dedicated, set aside to really focus in on this game, play it, no life it for several hours. I don't want to play it for 30 minutes and then have to go do something else. I want to put the time in, and I just haven't been able to do that. This past year or so has been very, very busy IRL, and so yeah, this one is very high up there on my list. I don't really care what the price is for this one. I'm just going to pick it up at some point. And then the other game there that I was just talking about was Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars, I was very, very excited for. It's on a 10% off sale. There's a demo you can play as well. This is another like JRPG style game. The visuals are fantastic. They're fantastic in Chained Echoes as well. And this looks really, really fun. I played the demo and found that I just wasn't as into it as I was with Chained Echoes. And that's not because it's good. It's because it is really a tribute to those old school style JRPGs. And honestly, I have played so many of them that it's just feels like the same thing over and over again, even if the quality is very high and they've made some tweaks. That being said, I still do want to eventually play Sea of Stars. I absolutely think it's going to be worth the play, but I just really have to be in the right mindset. But that said, if you are looking for a classic style JRPG, Sea of Stars and Chained Echoes are both games that I would highly recommend that you check out. They are definitely different from each other. But they both visually look fantastic, and they both got really great ratings, and I think you'll get your money's worth with either one. Anything else on here? We talked about Dave the Diver and Dredge. We talked about Symphony of War, and we talked about Wild Frost. So we pretty much covered everything there. We'll glance real quickly at my followed list. So my followed list has games that I am keeping an eye on, mainly because I want to pick them up on like a sale, or because I'm just waiting for updates and things like that. So I just want to check and see if there was anything on here that I was kind of hoping for a sale on, like a deep discount to check out. You know, like Cassette Beast is on here because, again, like I think it's a really solid, you know, Pokemon style game, but I just need it to be on a super deep discount for me to want to check it out. I really doubt we're going to find anything on here because I clear out a lot of the old games over time, and this is primarily newer games or games that aren't released yet. So like Dome Keeper's on here because, again, this is one that I wanted to play, but I wanted to pick it up on a sale. What about Dungeon Drafters? We'll check that one out, see if that went on sale. Then again, Ender Lilies we talked about here, Endless Dungeon. So you can see I've got those kind of games on here that basically I've just been waiting for a sale for them to check them out. So I'm just kind of scrolling through. Some of these, it's like, even with a sale, I don't even, like God of Weapons, I'm like, you know, if I get really bored, then maybe I'll check that one out. Goodbye Volcano High, that's one that I have been keeping an eye on, so we'll see if that has a sale. Hidden Through Time 2, that's another one that I've been keeping an eye on as well. See if that one has a sale. Let's see, what else? Lots of good stuff coming out. I mean, if you want to like pause and click on things or look up things that are on this followed list or that wish list, you're going to find some really interesting looking games, some stuff that I'm really excited about. You're going to get a lot of those through the video series that I'm making here too, so you could just wait for that. But I mean, if you want to cheat, if you want to get ahead of the game, then look, the whole thing is here and it's going to be recorded. See, there's Sea of Stars. Let's see. Slime Rancher 2, just put out a video for that. Oh, I can stop following Songs of Conquest because I actually picked this one up, but I'll talk about that one. I'll mention that one. I did want to check out Stray Gods, see if that has a sale. Turtles we talked about. Anything else? And again, if you are tuned in or if you're watching this as a VOD, you can drop in the chat or in comments. If there's a particular type of game that you're looking for, let me know. You know, I don't play every game, but I have a really broad knowledge about a lot of games that are out there. And one of the things that I love to do for my friends, family, and random people that I meet is help them find the perfect game for them to play. So that's the whole reason I created the channel as well. The Pixel Pathfinder is because I wanted to take what I do for everyone else anyway and offer it to random strangers on the internet. So feel free to take advantage of that. All right, so let's see. Checking a couple things here. Dungeon Drafters, 20% off sale. No thanks. I need it to go deeper. We must go deeper in the sales. This is one I was really excited about. Hasn't fully panned out on release, but I think I still might personally enjoy it, so I'm waiting for like a 50% off sale. So no go on that one. Goodbye Volcano High. So this is not really my cup of tea. It is a visual novel, a story-rich single-player visual novel, but it just looks weird. It looks interesting. It looks like a fun game, and it is 25% off. I absolutely will not purchase this game until it is like $10, $5 or $10. And that's just because I know it's not the kind of game that... There's a lot of potential for me to play this game for 3 hours and then be like, yeah, I'll never come back to it. But that said, it did catch my eye, so I'm keeping it in mind. Hidden Through Time 2, 20% off, that's fine. This is a hidden object finding game. I would actually recommend as well Hidden Through Time 1, which actually is probably going to be cheaper. Hidden Folks is pretty good as well. Here we go. Recommendation, if you want to play a hidden object game, Hidden Through Time is available 50% off for $4. It's really great. I played a bunch of it. Actually, I know it says 1.5 hours, but I played it elsewhere as well. I think actually I played through one of the DLCs here on the channel. There's videos for it. There's also a level maker, and so you can access community built maps and hidden object stuff as well. So super good pickup. That being said, I'm kind of holding off on bringing these to the channel until we get the remainder of Lost and Found Co. because I played the demo for this and it was absolutely amazing. So I'm ready for this game to be fully released. And when it comes out, we'll do a whole playthrough for this on the channel. Whether you like to watch it or not, I'm doing it. Let's see. This one, I'm not going to talk about this one. I just wanted to check on this one. And then Songs of Conquest. So this is another Heroes of Might and Magic style game. This was my most anticipated game of 2021. I just didn't end up picking it up until like this past week for whatever reason. Okay, like don't judge me. But I did play the demo. It's really fun. They're continually working on it. It's on sale, 50% off for 15 bucks. I think you'll get a lot out of it if you like Heroes of Might and Magic style games. I started a recording for this one, had to stop it because I was too tired and I was just like not making sense. But I'll be bringing a video for this one to the channel here probably within the next week or two, depending on how much time I have to record and whether or not I actually get any sicker than I currently am. But really cool game. And then Stray Gods. This is another like interaction, fiction, visual novel style game I've just been keeping an eye on. Again, 20%, not a deep enough discount for me. All right, so last thing we're gonna do here is I'm gonna hop into my library. We're gonna sort some stuff by playtime real quick. Hours played. Just so I can check out a couple of games here to see whether or not they're on sale and whether I would recommend them to you. Now, this is not all the games that I own. We'll hop in here in just a second. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. I already recommended this for the turn-based strategy sale. I'm telling you guys, this is one of my favorite games of all time now. I really, really love this game. It's a CRPG. You can pick it up for 12 bucks, and it is... holy cow, that is a steal for $12. This game came out in 2021. It's not that old. The graphics are great. It's based on the Pathfinder RPG system. And I mean, I've got 70 hours and I literally stopped playing because I moved to a different state and started a different job. That's the only reason I stopped playing. And I imagine that I am going to end up playing this either as a live stream game or as probably not a let's play, because let's be honest, like 70 hours, that's a lot of videos. Probably be a live stream style game. This is by Owlcat Games, who are about to release Warhammer 40,000 or Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, which I actually already own. It doesn't say I own it, but I do own it already. And this is one I'm definitely going to be playing on the channel as well, either through a let's play, maybe a couple let's play episodes, and then maybe move it to like a live stream or something. So this is another CRPG, but this one is set in the Warhammer 40,000 setting. Personally, I prefer the Pathfinder, fantasy type stuff here, but I was so impressed by Wrath of the Righteous that I was just like, yep, I'm buying their next game. I don't care what it is. And it turned out to be a CRPG set in a world, in a universe that I really enjoy. Astroneer, there you go. Inkbound. I wonder if Inkbound is on sale. Inkbound is really fun. It's by the developers of Monster Train. So if you know what Monster Train is, which, I mean, that's going to be another recommendation from me, then you know the pedigree of those developers. Inkbound is a turn-based roguelike tactical RPG that I've played for about 35 hours or so. Some of that with friends, some of that solo. You can play with up to 2 other people, I think. I think it's 3-player. Is the limit, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different classes you can play as, different abilities that you can draft, and different upgrades you can get. They recently made a bunch of updates to the game that I think improved it for the better as well. You can pick it up 20% off. That's not like a steep discount, but if you like this kind of game, it's worth picking up. Otherwise, wait for a steeper sale. And that said, that did make me want to recommend Monster Train, which would have come up anyway because it's in my library. So Monster Train is a roguelike deck building game. This is probably, if I just had to give you a list off the top of my head, what are the top 3 deck building games out there that you would play? Slay the Spire is going to be one of them, and Monster Train is probably going to be another one. I don't know what the other ones would be because I'd have to think about it probably because there's a lot of them, but that just tells you how much of an impression Slay the Spire and Monster Train made on me that they're in the top 2 and I don't even have to think about it. I've played Monster Train 64 hours and it's fantastic. Super interesting mechanics. You're like on this train, there's multiple floors, you're playing units, you're playing cards. Like it's great. It's great, and you can pick it up for $7.50. That's a steal in my opinion. So Monster Train, very, very good. Let's see. Across the Obelisk. I wonder if that one's on sale. Across the Obelisk is a deck building game that is designed with co-op in it from the get-go. You can play with up to 4 people. And it plays kind of like Darkest Dungeon in a sense, where you've got like multiple characters on one side, enemies on the other side. And it has a lot. This game has meat and potatoes. If you play deck building games and you wish they had a little more depth to them, they were a little more like Magic the Gathering, Across the Obelisk is a fantastic game to play in that vein. They've come out with a couple different DLCs. They've had some missteps in that area in terms of how they monetized and implemented them, but this is still, in my opinion, one of the absolute best deck building games that you can pick up if you want to play deck building games with friends. And it looks like it's on sale 35% off for $13. You know, that's pretty solid. These all look so good. Yeah, these are the games that I invested like multiple hours into, and they are fantastic. Last Epoch has a 1.0 coming out. You can look that up yourself if you want. It's a Diablo style game. And honestly, right now we have Diablo 4. We got Path of Exile. We have Last Epoch. Last Epoch to me is the best of those games if you want something that's not overly complicated, but also isn't a brain dead snore fest like Diablo 4. Last Epoch to me is going to be the go-to ARPG, especially if you want to play single player. And I don't think it's going to get supplanted until Path of Exile 2 comes out. And the beta for that is in the summer. And who knows when the full release will come out. So Last Epoch, I'm going to make some episodes for it here on the channel to kind of showcase it because I really enjoy it. And this might be one that ends up as like a live stream game as well. We mentioned Soulstone Survivors. Hellcard is another fun one. If you like Across the Obelisk or you like the concept of Across the Obelisk, then I would recommend you check out Hellcard as well. I don't know if this one's going to be on sale though. 25% off, that's okay. This is another one you can play with up to 3 friends. Basically, the way this works is you fight in a circular room that's split into different sections, 1 per person. If you have 2 people, it's split in half, etc. And then you play cards from your hand to destroy waves of enemies that come in, almost like a bullet hell, but it's turn-based. And it gets pretty crazy. It's a lot of fun. I've got 16 or so hours put in there that most of it I played with friends. So another good one to pick up with friends. For the King 2, Backpack Hero, we talked about all those. Core Keeper, Bullets Per Minute, I am actually going to recommend to you as well. So this one's a little different. We haven't talked much about this genre so far. This is a first-person roguelike shooter that is a rhythm-based shooter, and I freaking love this game. It is so fun. You have to like reload, jump, dodge, fire, everything to the beat of the song. And man, it is difficult, it is challenging, but it is super fun. And I really, really enjoy this game. You can pick it up right now, 75% off for $5. So if you're more into like the FPS games and stuff, or if you like rhythm games, fantastic game to pick up. I love it. It's a lot of fun. Monster Sanctuary, I would recommend. It's a little bit of like platforming, but with a lot of Pokemon in it. This is one of the only Pokemon style games that I have really, really enjoyed a lot. Only 6 hours. I played a little bit on console as well. I did not play this game as much as I wanted to. This is on my list of, bro, play through the whole game. Like at some point, make the time, play through the whole thing. Because there is such an interesting element of like monster customization and team building in this game compared to Pokemon. It's kind of ridiculous. Like this is the talent tree for one monster in Monster Sanctuary. So if you want Pokemon, but where you don't just have like 3 moves for your Pokemon and you just swap them in and out, this game is awesome because this character, this Cat Zerker, has all these skills, and then you can go in and spec out each individual skill. It's like ridiculous. And then there's the team building component of, you know, matching up elements and all that kind of stuff. Like it's just, honestly, it's really crazy to me how cool this game is. Have not played it as much as I want, but I can highly recommend it. 75% off for $5. And honestly, Morai Games is coming out with this game called Aethermancer. It's in the video that I just released about anticipated games for 2024. And this is one of my most anticipated games for 2024 because I liked Monster Sanctuary so much. Cross the Obelisk is super fun. I've got about half the characters and several, I've played a bunch of playthroughs with a friend of mine. All right, so I'm just gonna clean this up here and assume that some of these are on sale, and we're gonna get like 1 to 2 line snippets because I need to go eat dinner. I haven't eaten yet. So Fail Seal, Arbiter's Mark, Final Fantasy Tactics style game, highly recommended. I definitely think you should check it out. If Round Guard's on sale, imagine Peglin or Peggle, Peggle, plus RPG classes and abilities. Also really fun. Slime Rancher 2, I can recommend that after one video. I think it's fantastic. It's probably on sale. There's a couple of sneak peek games in here for videos that are coming up real soon. I definitely didn't just hover over some of them. These are under an hour, so we're going to skip over that, and then we're going to go, let's see, view hidden games. So here's the other 1,247 games in my Steam library. We're not going to cover all these. I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. Borderlands 2, tons of fun. It's a little bit old these days. You can see Monster Train is up here pretty high. Tabletop Simulator is up here pretty high. I've played more Path of Exile not on Steam than I have on Steam, so that should tell you a little bit there. Arcanium, I played a lot. I don't know if I recommend it. I helped the developers with this game a lot, and then they just kind of like went way off to the side somewhere, and like the product that they ended up with was not one I was as proud to have been a part of. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. I like Dynasty Warriors games, and I like One Piece. If you do too, this game is awesome. Go pick it up. So that's pretty easy. Orcs Must Die 2 is the better of the Orcs Must Die games. So if you're going to pick up one of them, pick up that one. It's old, but it's still fun. Runestone Keeper, I really like. It's dungeon crawling mixed with like Minesweeper. Yeah, Minesweeper. I know that sounds weird, but it's actually really fun, and I would highly recommend you check it out. It's a neat puzzle game that's just different from anything else you're really going to play. Pirates Outlaws is a deck building game that I found to be really fun. You play as a bunch of pirates in a Slay the Spire style game, exploring islands. The artwork for it is really cool. It's got some pretty cool mechanics where you have to like play cards to reload your guns and things like that. Gloomhaven is the digital version of a absolutely ridiculous board game, physical board game. And yeah, you could play this game probably for 100+ hours and still have stuff to do. Transistor is by the people who made Hades, and it's one of my favorite games by them. It's a turn-based strategy game. It's very old, but the art style probably holds up nowadays, and you'll probably be able to pick it up pretty cheap. Same thing with Bastion, same developers. That was a pretty fun game as well. Legend of Keepers, I really enjoy. I dropped this one in my turn-based strategy sale recommendations. It's one of my favorite games, probably my favorite game by Goblin Studio. You basically play as the keeper of a dungeon, and you're trying to prevent heroes from invading and getting in, and it's really enjoyable. Crummets Tale, I've got several videos of this one here on the channel, and it is fantastic. It's sort of a deck building game in a sense. Great art style, great theme, great sound effects, great music, tons of different characters. I really can't recommend Crummets Tale enough, like honestly. And I think that's probably where I'm going to end it. There's several other things. I mean, you've got this on the VOD. You can scroll back through and check out anything that I have on this list that I didn't mention here. And I'm going to scroll through this over an hour section because there's some stuff that's pretty close to like 10 hours. So we'll have this on the VOD here in case you want to check anything out or ask questions about any of these games as well. So a lot of these games, they say I have a certain amount of hours, but I also played like a beta developer version that didn't count towards the total and different things like that. So if you see anything on here, again, it's too many games to recommend. But just drop a comment in the comment section and let me know if you have any questions or if you want a recommendation. That being said, thanks for those of you who tuned into the first live stream here, especially those of you who took the time to talk with me. So Brian and Nikki, I really appreciate you showing up. Thanks. I didn't expect anyone to be here at all. So that was more than I could have asked for, and I definitely appreciate it. We should be back to more video releases tomorrow. I didn't put one out today because we had the live stream. I think tomorrow we are going to have the first Backpack Hero video, most likely. And then since you're here for the live stream, here's a little preview for you. We got a video coming up for Death Roads tournaments or something. I forget what the full title of this is. We got one coming out for Astral Ascent, which I think is a potential game of the year contender. I mean, it's not going to be like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, we're not talking about that kind of weight class, but in the indie games weight class, you know, I think it's a potential game of the year contender that came out of nowhere. And then I've also got a couple videos coming up. I got a video where I went and voted for the game of the year nominees. So I'll have that out, which that's always a mixed bag. I'll be continuing to work on the videos for the games I'm excited about for 2024. And then I'm also going to do a video where I do my votes for the Steam Awards in 2023. So that's what I have. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I catch some of you on live streams in the future. Thanks for chatting with me. And as always, I appreciate you spending time with me, and I hope to see you on whatever the next live stream is, whenever that happens. So, all right. Bye, Brian. Bye, Nikki. Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully this is a good resource for some people coming through.